This is Frank Islam, Chairman and CEO of FY Investment Group and your host of Washington Current Review, where we interview leading voices from business and politics and explore the topics of current interest that impact you, the viewer. Today, our guest is Ralph Thomas, a partner of the law firm Barton Baker Thomas & Tolt. He focuses his practice on legal issues affecting small business in the federal government contracts arena. We'll be discussing the 8A program with us. Ralph was also Associate Administrator of the NASA's Small Business Program, and he was one of the most effective and committed men that I have ever known as when it comes to small business. I owe a sense of gratitude to Ralph Thomas. Thank you, Ralph, for coming to our show. Appreciate that very much.
My pleasure.
So tell me, we hear a lot about 8A program.
Mm-hmm.
What exactly is an 8A qualified company means to you?
Okay, now before I say that, before I answer that, Frank, I just want everybody to know, your viewers to know, that the government could not exist without 8A contractors. They help NASA complete its space missions, and when I was there, they were a critical part of it. They continue to be a critical part of Homeland Security and every other part of the federal government's function. And now, the 8A program, or an 8A company, that's to help socially and economically disadvantaged individuals own companies and develop their businesses and become a integral part of the marketplace through the performance of government contracts.
And what are the advantages of being an 8A besides getting a sole source up to $3 million or $5 million?
All right, now, let me go back to a question you had asked me before. Yes, just what is an 8A company? Yes, what is a program? Okay, now, an 8A company is a company that is certified by the Small Business Administration to be socially and economically disadvantaged. Now that doesn't mean disadvantaged as far as not being able to do the work or needing some kind of technical break. That simply means that you are disadvantaged in your competitive position to other companies because of factors beyond your control. For example, socially disadvantaged means companies that are that because of their race or ethnic group or culture, they have been historically excluded and discriminated against, so that the impact now leaves their companies at a disadvantage. So this is so the 8A program is an opportunity to bring those companies in line or even with the other companies that are not socially disadvantaged. Now, economically disadvantaged means that that's a socially disadvantaged individual that is impaired in terms of getting credit and access to capital. So now, to be an 8A company, you have to show that you're that. You have to show that you're socially and economically disadvantaged. Your company has to be unconditionally owned and controlled by a social and economically disadvantaged individuals. You must be of good character. You have to be a U.S. citizen, and you have to show that you have a potential for success.
Very good. Mm-hmm. So how do you go about applying to become an 8A company?
All right, well, if you go to this website, very simple, www.sba.gov.
SBA is the Small Business Administration.
Right, yes. And you'll click on the right button, hopefully, and it will take you to an 8A application. First of all, you'll have to complete a self-evaluation questionnaire, and that will tell you whether you are qualified to go further, to do the online application. It will see if there's any grounds to eliminate you. And now if you answer the questions, if they're acceptable, then you can start doing the application online. You can also do it on paper as well. If you go online, it will tell you what address to write to get a paper application, and you can complete it that way as well and send it in.
And how long this process takes?
Well, they're supposed to get back to you in 15 days.
15 days.
To let you know if the application is complete.
Okay.
If the application is not complete, then you have 15 more days, to complete it. the real period starts 90 days. It's supposed to be 90 days after that, that they give you a decision. Now, as you know, in reality, that may not happen, but because they have a lot of applications to get to, there's backlogs sometimes. But that is certainly the way that it's supposed to happen.
And how long can you stay with the SBS 8A program, and what happens when you graduate from it?
Mm-hmm. Well, the 8A program is in stages. You have 9 years to be in the 8A program, a maximum of 9 years. It's divided into 2 stages. There's a developmental stage in which the SBA is trying to get you to overcome your disadvantage, your economic disadvantage, by getting you contracts, building you a track record. And that takes 4 years. And then 5 years, they're working on transitioning you out of the 8A program so that you're not dependent on the 8A contracts that you got. Now, one of the questions that you asked earlier, I don't think I handled adequately. You asked what are some of the advantages of being an 8A company.
Right.
Well, one of the advantages is you get to, let me put it this way. Every federal agency has goals that they have to meet in terms of small businesses. One of those is dollars to 8A companies.
Right.
And contracts can be set aside for 8A companies if they're under certain threshold amounts. They get I think it's $3 million, maybe a little more than that now. It can be just sole source to you, just submitted to you with no competition. And competitions can also be limited to other 8A companies like your own.
Correct.
So it's a great marketing vehicle. You're able to get contracts that you would not normally be able to get. Now the benefit of that is yourself. Having been a very successful 8A contractor at NASA. You started as a struggling business, small business, and you built up your record. And I remember when you were in line for a $50 million contract, and that was from, I think it was from $5 million to $50 million.
That's exactly right.
Pretty close. And after that, you propelled even further to more than $300 million contracts. Only the SBA, the 8A program could have done that. I think
there is
you're the
no
best
question
example
about that.
And so, but it was not just you that benefited. It was the agency that benefited as well.
Correct.
There was another 8A company at our Kennedy Space Center. I think it was a Dynax Corporation.
Right.
And one time, they had this. We had this shuttle that was sitting on the, on the dock, waiting to take off, and they found a problem. They found a leak, and that would have really slowed us up and cost us a lot of money. And however, this 8A company, an Indian American owned company, it was working on some technology at Kennedy, new technology. And what we would have normally had to do, we would have taken the shuttle, we would have had to lay it down and move it to the cargo bay, and then take time fixing it, which would have taken a couple of weeks and cost the taxpayers money, delays, etc. And we would have had to do that because it's hard to repair a shuttle standing upright because of the fluids that would come down and hurt the repairman. Well, this 8A company had developed a technology that could freeze liquid in flight.
Wow.
For example, if I poured this cup of coffee out, you would apply the formula, and it would freeze it like an arc coming out. So they applied that to the fluid in the shuttle, and which protected the technician so that they could fix the shuttle. And guess what? The shuttle took off on time, within budget. And now the only way that comes without the 8A program, there was no.
They wouldn't have got an opportunity.
Right, exactly. So
our viewers, there are a lot of viewers out there in Washington area, and there are a lot of people interested in getting into 8A programs and looking for legal advice. How do they reach you? You're retired from NASA. You understand small business. You're one of the best in the industry that I know of. How do they contact you? How do they get hold of you?
Okay, well, they can contact me at 703-448-1810, extension 23. That's 703-448-1810. 1-810 extension 23, or they can feel free to email me at rthomas@bbmtlaw.com.
Very nice. And I'm sure our viewers will be very interested in contacting you so that you can help them with the legal issues if they are in the programs, or if they're interested in getting into the program, they probably need a little bit of assistance from you as well. Well, thank you very much for coming to our show.
I'd like to add one thing,
well,
Frank.
Please do that.
Right, there was this question that I also just want to touch on. You asked, how long do they stay in? And
yes,
you know,
yes.
There's also graduation. After 9 years,
9 years.
You graduate. The idea is to get you enough experience and track record so that you can go into the non-8A world and compete. You can also finish sooner than 9 years if you do something wrong, first of all, or if you are such a success that you no longer need the program anymore. And there are 8A companies, Indian American companies particularly, that have left the program early.
Voluntarily.
Because of their success. Right, voluntarily.
Signal comes to my mind,
exactly,
one of them.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because of their success. So,
Great.
I think the 8A program is a great opportunity for
There is
anyone.
no question. I can testify to the fact the 8A program has been a great benefit to me personally when I ran a company called QSS. And thank you very much for coming to our show.
Thank you very much.
Ralph,
Okay.
I appreciated that very much.
All right.
And that is our show. Until next time, this is Frank Islam of FY Investment Group wishing you a great week.